Hi, I'm Ron Keyes, retired Air Force general. I spent 40 years in the Air Force, all over the world. And throughout my career, I saw a lot of effects of energy decisions on what we do in the Department of Defense. So the big question, I think, is when you talk about climate change, climate security, and you talk about that as national security, we have to realize that that's not just the men and women with guns and tanks, airplanes, ships. This is about economic security. Very important. How do we grow our crops? How do we move food from one section to the other? How do we make sure that we have a resilient energy structure, that we can't be blackmailed, that someone can't turn off the fossil fuel spigot, that we have a resilient infrastructure, that when the floods come, when the fires come, we can withstand that, and we can, in fact, keep our economy running. People often ask, why does DoD care about climate security? That's because we have to, on our bases and ports and forts, we have to live there, we have to train there, we mobilize there, we deploy from there, and in many cases we reach back to essential services there. So we have to have a resilient base that operates in the face of all threats, including climate.
Hi, I'm Sherry Goodman. I served as the first Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Environmental Security, and I've seen firsthand how military needs for energy go hand in hand, and that as we move towards a clean energy future, we also improve military effectiveness. We learned the hard way in Iraq and Afghanistan that deploying troops to the front also meant putting their lives at risk as they trucked water and fuel to the front. Now we have better ways of doing things. We are moving rapidly towards renewables and a clean energy transition and changing fuel so that we can fight in a contested logistics environment. So as we move to clean energy, we also are improving our military effectiveness. Secondly, the buying power of the military as the nation's single largest energy user can be significant in certain markets. Today, the military is putting microgrids at virtually every installation and buying electric vehicles for its bases. These will all help America improve its clean energy and climate posture.
Hello, my name is Liston Lee, and I'm on the Board of Advisors at the Center for Climate and Security. I recently retired from the U.S. intelligence community after 38 years supporting warfighters, policymakers, industry, and allies. I'm here today to reinforce my belief that clean energy is national security. Our dependence on fossil fuels leaves us vulnerable to economic warfare, as exemplified by Russia's energy blackmail in response to the West's unified opposition to Russia's naked aggression against Ukraine. Transitioning to clean energy strengthens our ability to remain steadfast against threats from Russia, as well as compete more effectively with China. A more rapid move to clean energy will enhance America's military capabilities, economic security, and global leadership. Transitioning to clean energy is a vital national security imperative for the United States.
Hi, I'm Erin Sikorsky, and I direct the Center for Climate and Security. When I worked as a U.S. intelligence officer in a previous job, I saw how extremist groups in Syria, Iraq, and East Africa all tried to take advantage of climate hazards like drought and extreme weather to advance their position among really vulnerable populations in their countries. Today, we see Vladimir Putin's efforts to leverage Europe and the world's dependencies on fossil fuels for his own political interests as not very dissimilar. Just as investing in climate resilience measures in the Middle East and Africa help blunt extremist efforts there, so too does a push for clean energy blunt Putin's leverage. In addition to preventing the most catastrophic security outcomes from climate change in the second half of this century, a more rapid move to clean energy would also pull the rug out from under petrodictators like Putin. That's why clean energy is national security.
Hi, I'm John Conger. I'm the Director Emeritus of the Center for Climate and Security and the former Principal Deputy Undersecretary of Defense. The first thing you need to understand is that climate change sucks. The fossil fuels that have enabled so many comforts of modern life are also throwing our world off kilter, disrupting our equilibrium, imposing consequences, imposing a price quantified in chaos. We face extreme weather, sea level rise and flooding, heat waves and wildfires, food insecurity and water scarcity, and growing instability, all putting lives and livelihoods at risk. Former Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis said, climate change is impacting stability in areas of the world where our troops are operating today. And he's right. A world on fire is a world which calls upon the US military for aid, again and again and again. We must stop emitting carbon and transition to clean energy. When you're in a hole, you stop digging. We have to stop putting fuel on the fire. Our future national security depends on many things, no question. But one thing it does depend on is the clean energy transition. Clean energy is national security.